Hey. Okay. Well, I think um let me know if you guys can hear me. If Tanis is talking and you're hearing her and not hearing me, then messages will maybe show up talking to Tanis and not me. So let's see what's going on. Um Yay, hi guys. Hey, everybody. Okay, so we're gonna have to let Tanis know. I think honestly that maybe Restream is having some issues because Tanis is I don't know what's going on, honestly. Yeah, so we've been obviously we're late because it's 5:23 at this point, and we've been back and forth trying to figure out what is going on because we're not hearing Tanis on that end. And so I'm just gonna send a message really quick. So yeah, nobody's here, let me just let her know. There, maybe she can do a reboot or something again just to see what's going on. But it's so great to see you guys there. And I'm so sorry we're having such technical difficulties on our end. Um, so yeah, okay, she's gonna try to reboot on her end, and we'll see. Hopefully she'll be able to pop on again. But in the meantime, it is great to see you guys. I'm going to actually pop these bad boys on so I can actually read all of these messages and say hi to everybody. So, Pogo Pogo, hey, Tarot Stash, Betsy, great to have you guys here. Yeah, so how is everybody doing tonight? Yeah, love the Starseed chat. That was awesome, you guys. It was great to have you guys talking about star seeds. Um, and seeing, like how do we connect with our star seed charts and figuring out, who our guides are with the star seeds, maybe what our connections are, our lineages with them, all of that kind of stuff. It's pretty awesome, right? So, yeah. I guess let's get started. Why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on in the transits, because we do that anyway, and that's something that we can definitely take a look at really quick while we're waiting for Tanis to get everything kind of booted up. So yeah, Fogo Pogo, been feeling heavy and out of it all weekend, not sure what's going on. Yeah, we shifted yesterday into a new one. It is the gate 7. We're looking at the role of self, and this is like the self in interaction and what that looks like. And so this gate is actually, we're not in the throat anymore for the first time in a little while. We're looking at in the G center, the guidance center, the identity center, right? So this is the gate that it's about self identity, but it's also about this idea of leadership and bringing that self kind of guidance out and right taking that role on. So in the Gene Keys piece, it's about moving from division into guidance and then into this kind of virtue of really being able to make change. Tanis, I still don't see you, sweetheart. I still don't hear you. I don't know if anybody else does. Guys, it looks like Tanis is trying to get back with us. Does anybody else see or hear her over there? I'm not seeing or hearing you, love. Okay, well, I wait for comments to hear if anybody else is seeing you. Um, no, no, Betsy doesn't either. Okay, she's popped back off again. Yeah. Oh, this is so sad. Oh no. Um, yeah, I wish we had another. I was saying maybe if we just went like Facebook Live or I don't know. I'm so not tech savvy, guys. So looks like most of you are on YouTube as opposed to Facebook. Maybe we just, switch right over there and voice call in. Yeah, that could work. I was like, let's just do a Zoom meeting. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to make that live. But maybe if we just go right on her face or her YouTube. We could go live that way and send everybody over to the YouTube. Maybe that would work. Maybe I'll tell her that. I don't know. What do you guys think? How would you guys wouldn't have to change anything up, right? We could just do that. Let me actually just send her a quick message. We can do that, can we? I don't know. You guys are the tech people. Tell me what you think. Is that something we could do? I know you use StreamYard. You can stream YouTube from Zoom, but yeah, well, we were talking about that, and about how you can use Zoom Live and all, but we haven't figured out how to do it yet. So, but with all of this like technical glitching and everything else, I said we might as well start trying to figure out how to, start trying something different. My face What is your Facebook link? Oh golly. It's actually on here. No, it's not My Holistic Self. It's at Holistic Self Counseling. That's my Facebook link, but yeah. Yeah, StreamYard is probably a better option for sure. Um, but I'm gonna just message over to Tanis and say, well, what if we just go live right from, I don't know if she's good at doing that or not, but maybe she'll be able to figure it out and send me a link because she's our tech person. And here I am on with you guys, and I love it. But I don't have a clue what I'm doing when it comes to the technical stuff. So she's the tech guru. So hopefully she can figure that out for us. And hi, Tarot, your way. We're having some technical stuff, and we're hoping Tanis can get us all sorted out. And go from there. Maybe Gerald could hop on and show you StreamYard. That would be great, Jackie. Yeah, that would be awesome. I know, Tanis has been talking about, what to do and where to go from here and what the other options are. So, yeah, Betsy, I'm with you on that one. Oh, 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 I see a Tanis. Hold up. I see a Tanis.
Which one are you seeing? Are you seeing me in orange? Hello.
Woo!
All right.
Yay!
Can everybody see me? Hello,
Wow.
hello.
Yay.
I have no idea what's going on.
Well, yeah, everybody was saying maybe StreamYard and stuff, and I was thinking, well, maybe we'll just go live straight from YouTube at this point, since that's where everybody's hailing in from. But woohoo, we've got some party going on over here because we've got you back.
Well, I am excited. I don't know what's going on because I've been on Zoom. I was on this afternoon with Tarot Stash with Gerald. Everything was fine.
It just seems
I
to
don't
be
know.
So maybe we need to figure out something other than restream for this. I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you can see me on this, I am going to exit the other computer, which I had to come down to do something on. So I'm going to remove that because I can hear it in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's still good, right?
We're still good. We're just happy you're here.
Hi. I am so sorry. I have no clue what is going on. I thought last time we rebooted, and anyway, it's all good. I'm here. Hi. So did you give the energy update?
I started to, and then you pop back on, so I stopped and I thought, oh yay, and then it was black screen again, and so then we all mourned the fact that you weren't here again, and then we started to try to troubleshoot and think about maybe switching to YouTube, and we never really got back to it, but that's okay because we're just now celebrating the fact that you're here, and that's what matters.
So one thing I do know that I'll add to this energy update, yes, I think I need to smudge my computer. I might need to do the antivirus or something to my computer. I don't know. But I do know that we are having an X-class solar storm at the moment.
Yeah.
So this could be contributing. However, I don't know why it would be the same thing 2 weeks in a row, because we weren't having an X-class solar storm last week. So I think it's some kind of problem with Restream and my computer. So I've updated. The other thing I did was update my browser before I tried last time. That didn't seem to help. So I don't know what's going on. But so there has been a lot of solar activity in the last few days, as usual. And we have an X class right now. Let me just see here where we're at, because I do have a little app. You guys might want to get this app. It is Space Weather Live. So I actually get all the alerts like this. So you'll see here we're having an X class. There has been one in the last 2 hours. Okay. It gives you all the radio transmission or emission issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we've had an X1.51 flare from the sunspot 3386, if anyone's watching that kind of thing. We had a strong radio blackout about 40 minutes ago. So this may be affecting Restream, like perhaps depending on where they're streaming from. I know there's a lot of thunderstorms and whatnot all over the world as well, created by some of this solar activity. And boy, the energies have been all over the place. Like it was good for a day or so over the weekend, and then it was like heavy again yesterday. Over the weekend being like, I think Friday and Saturday were really good. Like they felt good. And then yesterday felt heavier again. So, you know, we're having these fluctuations in the energies. We had a super fun weekend because Jen and Jacqueline and I were all together on the weekend. So we had fun. Okay. Tropical storm. So maybe that's part of it too. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got lots of stuff happening in the atmosphere. And that may be creating the stuff in our bodies. I saw something earlier from Pogo. Where did we see that? About feeling heavy.
Oh, yeah, feeling heavy. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that was, yes, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, it's been heavy. Betsy almost had a head-on with a turtle. So we're glad you're here and you're okay. We also have Jackie here, and I just want to say hello to all of you because I haven't had a chance to do that. So that's awesome. I'm so happy you all stayed with us through all of this stuff. Yeah, lost with tech. That was, you were saying you were lost with tech, I guess, eh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not the tech one, and when it comes to all of this, as you can see, like I don't even have access to put the quotes up and everything. I'm just like, and I just talk about this and talk about that, and Well,
so I actually went down to my other computer to log in, but I was already logged in on this one in my other one, so I had to log in a different identity. Then I had to come back here to let myself in. Was what I was doing when you guys saw me all bent over.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Yes, Space Weather Live, iPhone app. That's the name of the app I was using. And then if you search Schumann Resonance Live, you'll find a couple there that will help you with the Schumann Resonance scale as well. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Jen, do you want to maybe second round for the transits? Because I know somebody was waiting about that. Oh, a couple of people are waiting about that. They want to know about the transits, Jen.
Yeah. Where did we leave out?
Just start at the beginning.
Oh, well, you know. Yes, we were talking about the gate. So the gate the gate of the role of self, right? So this is self and interaction. And we were talking about how we're now in the G center, the gate center, the guidance center that's talking about identity. So the G center is about it's guidance. So it's about our identity, about love, and about direction, right? And so this is really the part of us that is bringing that kind of inner identity outward. And so this is a big gate for leadership. And so in the Gene Keys, we're looking at moving from the shadow of division into the gift of guidance and the siddhi of virtue, right? So in this, we can either, if we're in the not self, in that shadow kind of piece, we can either kind of take on that dictator kind of role of, I want to make it happen and I want to make it this way and it's going to just do this and we're going to plow forward, or we can kind of go into that place of like hiding from the role altogether, right? And not wanting to take it on and not wanting to step into that and not wanting to allow it its place, right? And and Tanis and I actually had conversations about that this weekend, which is really interesting, right? We moved into the gate on Sunday, and I think it was like maybe 1:00 this morning that we were talking about this at some point.
We do that,
right? But and this is something that I talk about because I struggle with this. This gate is open for me in my chart, and it's one of the only ones in the G center that's open for me, that's undefined. And I often struggle with taking on that role, right, of stepping into a leadership position, of taking it on and owning that and having the security of being able to move into that place. And so it's really about being able to, honor that part in ourselves and understanding, the guidance that can come from that and the ability to really embrace that, right? And understanding that it's not about, telling everybody what to do, but being able to honor our own inner guidance and moving in that way and allowing space for others to do the same, right? And so it's really about, we talk about this, taking that time for meditation and taking that time for really listening to ourselves and understanding what it is we want to do and then moving in that direction. And we lead in doing so, right? And so it's in that sense, it's that ability to guide and lead in a way that is not necessarily the way that the world considers guidance and leading, right? It's a little bit more, leading by example in that way, right? Which is something that for me is a lot easier to do than to be that, in the forefront kind of leadership role, if that makes sense. And what
I was going to say, like, depending on your design, like that's going to be difficult depending on who you are, right? No matter which kind of leadership it is. Like if it's all saying you have to be out there in front leaders, then people like you won't be, right? We're not going to be comfortable. And then if it's like you have to be that, it takes work is what I mean, right? If you're the opposite of what it's requiring, it's going to take work. It's going to be uncomfortable. But, sometimes these things are to push us forward in our own journey, and you step outside the comfort zone for a little bit. That's where we find growth.
Yeah. Well, and being able to do it in a way that, again, because when we're looking at this, part of what we're looking at is, because it's guidance, but it's also that inner guidance, right? And so it's looking at like, what are our innate powers? Like, what are those things within us that want to be drawn out, that want to be, brought out and expressed, because it connects to the 31 in the throat, right? So it is about that expression. Like it wants to be pulled out and it wants to be expressed, right? And so it's about finding that in a way that, can be a beautiful kind of unfoldment if we allow it its space.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. So what have you noticed, guys, related to that? Leadership. Maybe that's a good word to use for today.
Maybe. Let's see what they got for us.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just throwing things around back here. It's all good. All right. So Modus operandi, we always do this. We pick a card, The Soul's Journey from James Brand Prague, and it gives us a topic and we talk about it. So let's see what that could be for today. What do we want to talk about, guys? Nope, that's 2. I need 1. Oh my goodness, loaded topic. Change. Transformation.
Oh my.
Well, it's the perfect topic, really. This is kind of what's forefront right now. We have the Lionsgate portal tomorrow. That's the other thing that I didn't mention, right? Lionsgate portal the 8th of August. And so there's that piece. And so change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Change.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pogo. I love that.
A lot of people feel this way. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Annie says, as well, we don't need to be leaders. We can make changes in the background, different type of leadership. Yes, exactly. Definitely. And Betsy says she likes to teach. I haven't been a leader of anything else. That is a huge leadership role because you're leading thought, right? It's amazing. Gerald, I used to teach transitions training at work. I love the topic. Perfect. Transitions and training. Transitions and teaching.
Awesome. Change is such a beautiful thing, really, right? Like on one breath, as humans, there is this apprehension to change because of how different it is, right? This idea that, it's the unknown, it's, going to be something that we can't predict. There is this aspect of, will I like it? Will I not like it? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be, because we label everything, right? And yet, there's also this part of us that, would get so bored if everything was always the exact same.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And so, if everything, if nothing ever changed, we'd be miserable.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though she hates change, she wouldn't be on the path now if things hadn't changed. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Annie says, I've been noticing change in my own body, aging. It's new and adaptive change. Loving oneself in all stages, beautiful yet challenging journey. It can be, for sure.
I love that. Yeah.
Gerald says it's letting go of the old way and struggling until the new way feels comfortable. I don't like to feel uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Pogo's with you. I think we're all with you, Gerald, on that. Yep.
Nobody likes to feel uncomfortable, but I mean, it's just like the lobsters, right? We've talked about it on the show before. The lobsters. How do lobsters grow? Right? We get to a point, where, lobster shells don't grow. And so lobsters grow, but their shells don't. And at some point, the lobster grows so much that the shell is just too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they can't handle it anymore. And then they have to be vulnerable. They have to go shed that shell.
Yeah.
Right? And then once they go through that process, they can grow another shell, and then they can spend some time chilling in that shell, having some fun, doing their thing until they grow too big for that shell, and then they gotta go do it again.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We have to get to that place of discomfort in order to be willing to make the change.
Mm-hmm. Change is always moving us up. Even if it's a rough ride for a bit, it's always an upgrade. Yeah, I'd like to believe that for sure.
Right.
And Betsy says
Mhm.
she's reinvented herself more times than Madonna.
I love it.
Very good.
Mhm.
And if we're not
Yeah.
willing to, then spirit will push us into it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There'll be a circumstance or something that's going to push us into change.
Mhm.
So that is
Yeah.
what will happen.
Yeah. And it's so funny too, right? Like we talk about change and we think about change like and we always think about it on like the grand scale. But like we change our clothes and we like that. We change our hair, we change our nails, we change our crowns, we change all kinds of stuff.
Did you get Gerald, we didn't do our crowns today.
Upstairs, Dash. Right? But again, right? Like there are certain things that we love to change and we have so much fun changing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we enjoy it and we want to change it up and yes, crowns.
Sure. I had that one, and now I could have this one. I know it's loud. Sorry, guys. Now I
Mhm.
could have this one because this one's a different one. So I changed crowns. Gotta have a good crown.
Yeah.
Or a few.
Yeah. And all of that to say, again, I come back to and I talk about this so often, right? Like but how we narrate our experience and how we, our relationship with a word, right? Really kind of does determine how we feel about it. So, that you hear the word change and it's like,
So
right?
how do we get away from feeling that way about change? Because it can be such a beautiful thing. How do we reprogram ourselves
Yeah.
to be
But
comfortable?
that's it, right? The moment, though, that we reframe it, it can be something different, right? So it's
Oh.
really a matter of
So is it whether it's in our control or not?
even things that are outside of our control they don't have to be horrible, right?
Perfect, Betsy. Perfect. All
Mhm.
chatters now wearing crowns.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We gotta go find a
Oh, well,
crown.
if we're doing
I
that,
love
put the
it.
other
Yeah.
one. So which one should I wear, guys? I have 4 of them here, just for the record, because I like them. So we'll just put this guy on.
Sometimes okay, so here's a question. Everybody, for a food for thought kind of moment, has there ever been a change that has been outside of your control that in the moment you thought, oh shit, oh no, that has been amazing?
Absolutely. There we go. Twillow talk tiaras. Someone wants the big one. Okay, big one. Put that on.
Are we really doing the crowns?
Hi, Amanda. Okay, we put this through here. There. All right.
All right. I'm gonna go with the nature walk today. How's that?
The nature one. Perfect.
There we go.
All right. So there we go.
Yeah. Yeah,
This
but
one
not at
doesn't
the
stay on
time.
quite as well. So
Yeah. And I think that's the piece, right? Not at the time. And the thing is, at the time, the problem is in the moment, we are so trained to look at the negative aspect, right? That negativity bias that our mind generally always goes to. And so what ends up happening is we focus on that. And the moment that we focus on the negative, it's what we see, right? We like hyper focus on it. And so when we do that, we get caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that dictates our experience, right? So how do we move away from that, right? How do we allow ourselves to have an experience that, for all intents and purposes, in the moment, is pretty shitty and
Mm-hmm.
still be okay,
Like this.
right? I got laid off from my job of 1 year and 3 months, but it led me down the path to where I am now. Yeah. So we have this experience and we go, okay, crap, I'm out of work. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so we get to that place and we go, all right, now what? Right. And we could stay in that place of, I have no job, nobody wants me. And we could stay there and we could stay caught in that. Right. Or we could try to do something different. And I think that's the piece, right? Because the loss of the job itself is an experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it might lead to a difficult experience down, not being able to pay the bills or having to deal with something else, right? But we're not there yet.
Right.
In that moment, it's about, how do I deal with it right now? What do I want to do with this right now? Right? And where am I going to go with it? Changes is change. They're neither good or bad. They just are. We have to adjust to new things. Yeah. And this is the piece, right? At every moment along the way, we have to make a decision. I, one of the toughest things, like, okay, I'm going to get really raw for a minute. So at one point in my life, we talk about like going through things where a change is happening and it pulls the heartstring. You know how, like, we've talked before about those moments where we like ugly cry, scream like that. It just wrenches your body moments, right? Because change was happening that was out of my control that I didn't want to let go of, but I knew I had no choice. Right? And so in that moment, I had to release that. There's no way I could hold on to that.
Yeah.
Right? That change was coming and there was nothing I could do about it. Right? So I had to let myself have that experience. Right? But then I had to move on because there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
So in that moment, change is the change. It's not good or bad. It just is. My feelings around it had to be addressed.
Yeah.
Right? And my feelings around it were, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen in that moment, because of all of the narratives I had built up around it, and because all of the feelings that I had about it and everything else. And so I had to process all of that, right?
Yeah.
Because in that moment, one of my worst nightmares was coming true, and I had to deal with that, right?
Yeah.
But then I dealt with it, and I realized it wasn't my world was going to go on. It had to. I
Yeah.
had no choice. Right? And I dealt with it. And then when the emotions would come, I would deal with them. And then I would move on. Right? And the beautiful thing was, in the end, that change was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. It was painful. And it was a blessing. And it was good. But in that moment, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. Right? But I knew that I had no control over it. So all I could do, the only thing I had control over, was allowing myself to process it, giving myself the compassion, and then giving myself the strength and love to continue to move on. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like, sometimes, even if it's outside of our control, it's still good.
I think
Right?
sometimes, it might even be harder to make the choice to change.
Mhm.
So if we use
Yeah.
Betsy's analogy here, it always works out. Loss is creating an open space for something else to come in, just like cleaning out the closet. Yeah, but how do you choose what to clean out?
Sometimes the choice is made
Right.
for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's where those things that are outside of your control can be so powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Because the choice is made for you. You don't get the option. Sharon.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, and as much as, and I've had that experience happen so many times in my life where, universe gives you a, hey, this would be a good idea. Hey, why don't you? No way. Mm-mm. Nope, don't wanna. No. And eventually universe goes, it's happening, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, right? So, if it's something that is really important for our journey, we're given opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, sometimes, if it's really important, we're going to go through it.
Yeah. And it's all to learn,
Mhm.
right?
It really is, Annie. The blessings are there for sure. And, we can get really, really lost in the hard if we don't pay attention to the blessings and the positives.
Yeah. It's all about balance, guys, right? We have to balance our thoughts. So
Yeah,
the universe pulls the rug. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
make it
and
harder
change.
and harder for you to not change, basically, right? It's what
Yes.
often happens.
But we're meant to change, right? We're meant to.
Absolutely. But we all resist it. Like, resist. And then it's
Yeah.
like, but the resistance is futile. I think some
Yeah.
wise woman said that to me this weekend. Um, yes, I think it does get a little easier. You get change skilled, right? Like skilled at change. So, and
I think you just get, used to the fact that resistance really is futile. Yeah.
yeah,
The blessing.
exactly.
Yeah.
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 And here's one from Annie. Whoops, here we are, Annie.
Oh.
This we can have control of our thoughts. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
And here's one from Fogo Poco. What's coming will come and we'll meet it when it does. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, because worry, I mean, that's a big thing we all do. But it's really not being in the present moment if we're doing that. We're worrying about the past or worrying about what the future is, or, well, usually,
Mhm.
regretting or feeling guilty or whatever for past and then worrying about the future. If we're trying to stay in the current moment, it's easier.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
we're
well,
human, so be gentle with yourself on that. So,
yeah. Well, and this like the Hagrid quote, and I love it, and I talk to clients so often, like, we play the what if game so many times in our lives, right? Well, what if this and what if that, and well, what about, and this quote from Hagrid is so great with that. It's like there's no point in playing the what if game,
mhm,
you know? What's coming will come, and we'll meet it when it does, right? We have no idea. And so being able to recognize, like, as long as we work on us and we trust in our ability to navigate, we'll be okay.
yeah,
And whatever comes our way, we're going to be able to navigate it. When it shows up, we'll deal with it. It's okay.
yeah, yeah.
Right? And so
And
the more present we are, the more we'll have the capacity to deal with it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we often release things like that, right? Fear and
Mhm.
frustration and all of that stuff
Yeah.
as we change, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Changing those denser emotions for the lighter ones. That's how
Yeah.
we move our ascension forward as a whole as well. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and change is, I mean, change can be a beautiful dance.
mm,
It doesn't have to be, and I think sometimes when we think about change, we think about, like this kind of knocking down walls, right? And beating up against them. And it's this problematic, hard, painful thing. And it doesn't have to be.
yeah.
It can be this flowing, beautiful thing that, you know, yeah, sometimes we misstep, or sometimes we need to take a break, or sometimes we need to do different things, but it's still a beautiful dance that we do, and it's an unfolding. And as long as we can embrace that and have that mindset about it, it's always something that we can welcome in our experience.
hmm And this is true. The universe won't give us anything we can't handle,
Yeah.
individually or as a network. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's true. Because we're meant to learn. That's what we're here for. And that's how we learn. It's like the grist, right? We have to have grist in order to create. Just like the oyster, it won't make the
Hmm.
pearl. It doesn't have the grist, the grain of sand.
Hmm.
That goes with what Betsy says. Change brings opportunity for growth. We grow when we do our inner journey, for sure. That inner journey, getting to know yourself. How do we do that?
Hmm.
By experiences.
Yeah.
If we're stuck, we don't learn anything about ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, listening while walking.
Nice.
Hmm.
Kind of
That's
like work
awesome.
learning.
Able to join us and walk.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, change
Yeah.
is about transformation.
Mhm. And it's interesting, like, while walking, and one of the things that, as we were talking, when we're talking about, like, resistance to change and stuff, and, the earth is such a beautiful example of change, and I think part of our resistance to change, what was coming was this idea of what comes with change, right? And nature is such a great example of that, right? Because we go through the seasons.
Yeah.
And one of the seasons is the autumn season, which we're coming into right now, right? Where things
I'm not
start.
giving up on summer just yet.
Okay,
I'm
my
just
apologies. We don't have to go there, but the idea that we move into, right? That idea of things, starting for that towards death and decay, right? In the winter of the dormancy, right? And having that where there are parts of us that have to fall away
yeah.
in order for new growth to happen. And I think that when we think about change, often we immediately go to that, right? And the pain that comes with that. But we have to always remember that it's that making room for new growth part,
Yeah. With every
right? And
ending or with every beginning, we usually have an ending of something.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so just being able to stay in that cycle, right? And remember that flow, right? And with change is always that flow, right? And so when we get to a place where something about change comes into the picture, if within us we feel that resistance, that tightness, however that shows up for us, if we can in that moment take a breath and take a pause and kind of go, okay, what in me is resisting right now, right? And feel into that. Generally, that's a part of us that doesn't want to let go,
Right.
right? And if we can bring compassion and love to that part of us, often we can find release so that we can make space to allow room for that change,
Mhm.
right? So just again, I come back, self-compassion. Can we take that
Exactly.
space and, you know?
Self-compassion is huge, right? we start to judge ourselves on all sorts of things, our feelings about this and everything. When really, if we can do that observer role, like we've talked about so many times, it's less stressful, for sure.
Yeah.
Annie, thank you for being part of the community.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. And if you are interested, we do have a Twillow lifestyle membership for the community, so where you get all sorts of other perks too. So just check out twillowlifestyle.ca for that. Annie's already a member, so we're pleased to have her a member. Thank you. And the membership page is full of info from all of our teachers. It's awesome. Yeah, so change, even the school is like a change, right? When we talk about that, because the school came about because of COVID. So we had to change everything when we had COVID. I had to go online, and so that was a change that I made. I ended up going online, and how am I going to teach? I guess I'm going to teach online. And so that was a change, and it's turned into be a beautiful change.
Well, it's what led to even this.
It is.
And doing lives and
it is. And I would never have gone out of my comfort zone if I hadn't been pushed by COVID.
No, and meeting all of you and being a part of this amazing community. Like this is all
it's awesome.
Blessing that came from change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So change can be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it can be a scary thing, but that doesn't make it a bad thing.
Right.
It can be an absolutely wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Hello, Pierrette. Thank you for joining us. Whoop.
Hello.
Thank you. So, I don't know. Does anybody else want to tell us what they think about change in the meantime? Oops, sorry. I'm getting a little happy here with my clicking. Yeah. I mean, the seasons is a really good example, because we do go through all of those cycles. We go through the dying thing, and then the rebirth and all of that. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel this way. Yeah, for sure. We hate change that we can't control.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would invite you to say change that you can't manage. Because control is a bit of an illusion, but we can manage sort of our emotions. We can manage our actions.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with that. Is I was going to say, I would question your relationship with control in that, right? Because control is such a perceived thing anyway.
Right? We should definitely be courageous about change.
I love it.
For those of you that aren't familiar with courageous, that came out. I think it was. I think I was helped.
Yeah, creative and.
Yeah, creative and courageous came out as courageous one day. So that's the term. It's courageous. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel don't force into change. Let heart and intuition guide you. Yes. I think sometimes that can be difficult if you're not in tune with how you're feeling about things. So that's where we start to thank you. That's where we start to want to do the work. How do we feel into something? What does that mean to people to feel into something? Yeah, so this is an interesting thing. So Amanda says, I usually experience change as a mixture of dread and excitement. Yeah, the feeling of anxiety and excitement are both very similar in how we experience them. So how do we define one from the other?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? Because when we talk about strictly, chemicals in the body, we're firing very similar hormones and all of that. So it's really hard to tell the difference,
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes it's just a matter of levels,
Yeah.
right? And so I think, again, we have to go back to, what.
Yes. I would say
Yeah.
that's accurate. Yes. But you can't influence. But
Yeah.
can you
But
influence
going
it,
back,
or are you just influencing how you feel about it?
yeah.
Sorry, Jen, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, that's okay.
Going back to,
Yeah, I mean, this idea of dread and excitement, I think that ultimately it's how we choose to experience it,
yeah.
right? And so, we need to just kind of pay attention to, again, how we're narrating it, right? What is our core belief around the experience? And that's going to make a difference, right? So then coming back to Gerald's comment, right? About this idea of I don't like change that I cannot influence. Again, what are those core beliefs going on in there that are causing those kind of statements,
Mm,
right? And so the more that we can look at our relationship to these things, the more we can understand them, right? The more we realize, you know, how how those things impact how we feel about them,
mhm.
right?
Well, and that's all, I think the way we feel about them is also impacted by our past experiences with it.
Oh,
So,
100%.
yeah. Big hello to
What,
Hypnocity. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about change today.
yeah, hi.
Here we go.
Yeah.
If I have input on how the change will be implemented, or if I can be part of the new way of being, then it's
Mhm.
easier. Yeah. New way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that is a good question, Betsy. How
Mhm.
deep is your trust in the universe to support you? Well, and that's something that people need to work on. And so I think we need to, when I say work on, they need to experience evidence of trust, like evidence that they have their back before they can build the trust, right? You
Yeah.
have to have experiences where they've had your back to
Yeah.
build trust.
Well, and I think also you get to a point, like we talked about this actually in one of the shows, the one I think when Deanne was on about our journey and stuff. Some of the biggest change experiences in my journey I shared was those moments where I got to a point of I've screwed it up so much. I can't figure it out on my own. I'm done. Full surrender. There is nothing more I can do.
Mhm.
Universe, light, love, whatever. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Show me. Tell me what to do. I am done. I can't. I have no more input to give. Right? Like that's it.
Yeah.
And those are the moments where real change has unfolded in a way that I never could have done for myself.
Yeah.
Right? But
And what
it takes
Betsy
a lot
says,
to get us to that point.
for sure. And that kind of goes with what Betsy says here. I know the universe has wonderful things in store that my limited human mind can't imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Gerald says truth. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That is good.
Yeah.
It is a big topic, change, because we've had so much of it. We're change stressed in our society right now because there's been so much.
Mhm.
And I'm an HR consultant as well. So when you see an organization and they've made a whole bunch of changes, you can tell there's like change fatigue within the organization. They're like, no more changes. Just let me do my job.
Mhm.
I think there's a certain amount of that that's happening at the moment because we've had to change everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like change whiplash. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean, we can look at it that way, or we can look at it like we got to just flow with it. You know, the river has different bends, and if we flow with that river, then it's easier.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
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 It builds trust. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And there are going to be times where that is a beautiful opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be times where it comes out of left field.
Yeah.
And there are going to be times where we are the catalyst for the change. And all of those things are going to be part of our experience. Right? And there are going to be times where a change comes and we're going to go, oh, hell no, not again.
Not again.
Right? And there are going to be times where a change comes and we're going to go, yeah, awesome. Right?
Woo-hoo!
And
Of
yeah,
course. Because change
right?
is, yeah, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Gerald
Yeah.
said
And
change fatigue is a cause for many organizations imploding and turnover. Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah. And the reality is even our relationship with change is constantly changing.
It is.
Like,
We learn how to maneuver and flow and not, depending.
depending on where we're at and what's going on and how we slept that day and if we ate well and if somebody, cut us off on the road or if our kids are
There's somebody
doing
funky in our aura.
hey, like there's a million things that, are going to impact,
For sure.
how we're relating to and how we're experiencing change on, every day, moment to moment. And, again, coming back to, can we observe it? Can we notice it? And
I like this. So much has changed in the past couple of years. It feels like the old ways are having a tantrum. Yeah, it really does. I think they are.
fair enough.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
folks, despite all of our stuff at the beginning, we have been an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say thank you all for your patience, first of all, with all of this. We have some new comments here, like the old ways can see its demise and is going out kicking and screaming. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. When will there be a long period when there will be a long period of change when someone says that out loud? It validates the stress and strain and excitement.
Yeah.
Yes, we can tell.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we thank you all for joining us for our show on change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it almost matches my shirt.
Yay.
So thank you all for coming. Thank you, Jackie. And
thank you.
thank you.
Oh, it's so great. And thank you guys so much for your patience and for being a part of the conversation and for being here and
we're just filled with gratitude and love for all of you. So thank you for coming. An hour doesn't seem long enough. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. But if we make it too long, then others may not enjoy the length. So small bites, and we'll be back next week. And I will be on doing readings with Michelle on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I will be on with Ramsey at 7 p.m. on Friday, doing open mic. And then Jen and I will be back again next week on Monday. So we're wishing you all a fabulous week. crowns and all. Step into your royalty. Goddess attire, after all. So enjoy your Twillow Talk tiaras. And we'll see you all real soon. Thanks so much, everyone.
Bye.
Have an awesome night.